Hello traders on TradingView and elsewhere. My name is Francesco and I run my free FX channel on YouTube and also starting to post some stuff through TradingView. So you've been following me, perhaps it's your first time here. Basically, I'm a private trader and I'm a musician, and I trade currencies, FX. Some of my trades I do other things. I've done some gold and S&P, but through basically a mainly FX broker. So I trade it with that kind of approach. So I'm not a stock trader, I'm really an FX trader. I'm teaching myself for 8 years now, and the last 6 months have been really where things are taking a positive turn, and I'm really on this kind of course to really up my trading. Listening to all the chat with traders for about 3 years and really getting to understand where I need to go. I'm starting from my CMT level 1. I've got the exam in December. There's a lot of work to do on that. So also wanted to give a shout to SMB Capital. Today there's a webinar happening in about 15 minutes about how they trade, and I've listened to their interviews on chat with traders, and I'm really impressed with what they do and how they kind of nurture their traders. So I'm going to see and what they do. It's a great opportunity to kind of see how a prop firm works from the inside. So anyway, back to what I do, which is EUR USD, for example. I've done a few videos on this already. So the update is that we're on this long-term trend channel from the great financial crisis, and we are basically stuck. As you can see, that's a weekly there. We're stuck just coming back under the top of the trend. This candle here in September took us below it, and we're kind of pushing and then pushing back. So we're kind of struggling with that level, and also there's a fib retracement for this massive move from the high to low. We're basically at this retracement here, the 0.23. So you can see that red line there. We're just kind of slightly below that, but essentially we're stuck at this sort of confluence of technicals. And the volume side, if you look at the Euro FX futures and the CME, you see the daily volume today for selling was massive, as big as basically going back to late September, where there was a push from 118.50 to 116.50, like a 200 pip move there in consecutive days almost. Some of that selling has been absorbed. You can see that candle. Even easier to see on the hourly. You can see today's action. We've had the usual rigmarole of the day's action has been quite significant. We've had a bit of action sort of from the start of the day. Strong moves there, selling volume increasing. Hasn't really had much of an impact on price. In fact, this kind of low or diminishing buy volume is quite indicative that it's kind of dipping down, fading, and price moving up from 117.40 roughly to 136. So just a 20 pip move. Obviously, futures FX price lags behind spot FX. But you can see in the latter hours of the American session, basically we've had these kind of dojis, so real indecision and not particularly helpful from that point of view. Okay, so just on USD, we're really just waiting for a catalyst to get this. We had a strong move back in June, July, etc. We really pushed from the 108 to the 118. It was an amazing trend to ride, and then a lot of chop here. And those of you who follow me know that I've been really engaging with this pair quite a lot recently, and done quite well, but also had some really poor trades around this choppy area here in early September, where things kind of dried up, and then we had a bit more movement. But again, we're kind of stalling there between those two levels, 117, 118, kind of lacking direction. For that reason, I've been really trading Euro TRY, as I've done in my previous video, because that's really where the trend is. That trade is doing quite well. I'm at 23,500 in revenue on my demo. Volume is 1 million, and so I'm just kind of over 2,000 pips. I'm doing pretty well on that trade, so I'm pretty chuffed. So Euro TRY is not really correlated to Euro USD, so just bear in mind that those things. And if you really wanted to have a comparison, I'll put in a Euro TRY just to show you that they are not related in any way, and the correlation coefficient is indeed very, very, very small. So there's the two of them. If I had an indicator there, and the indicator is going to be correlation coefficient, and you see that essentially they might as well be different pairs. The fact that they've got euro in the name, both of them, doesn't really do anything at all. Correlation coefficient should be between these two pairs. So I'm just going to put in Euro TRY and that, and apply. Okay, so there's the correlation coefficient between, I think this is between US dollar and Euro TRY. And basically, occasionally we've had a bit of correlation. They are kind of not really correlated. If I just bring up the daily and see like how that looks like. Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty random the way that they move. It's not really like a clear, constant. It's quite choppy and not really an easy one to read. I would say. So there's a lot of zero when it's kind of neutral. Then sometimes there's movement, but the difference between the two is that Euro TRY has been moving on an uptrend for a long time, and USD hasn't. But this you can see there's a lot of change between the two. It's not like a constantly positive or negative. There's a lot of going back to neutral, and so that kind of shows you how difficult it is to connect the two. So you can really quite safely say you can trade them as separate entities because they have different drivers, etc. So I would keep that in mind if you're stuck with euro. Look for another euro pair like Euro GBP, for example, with all the Brexit stuff. Check the correlation coefficient if you can't visually tell what's happening, and then get a sense of how they are. And then think, if you can treat them as separate entities, then stay within the euro kind of area of trading, but obviously try to diversify. That's me for today. Take care. I'm off to see the SMB Capital webinar. Take care. Bye.